everyone, welcome to PaperDaisyJournals. This video is a little show and tell of a bright floral junk journal inspiration pack that I have put together, and I'm just going to take you through what is in the bundle. So it has 3 parts. There is a junk journal with 68 pages and I've kept it relatively blank. There are a few things in there. It's very hard for me to leave things blank, but I'll take you through that. And there is also a fabric and lace bundle that you can use to decorate the journal, so it's all coordinated to fit together, and a lot of the fabrics are Cath Kidston prints. And there's also an ephemera bundle, and I've used some of the tags and cards from my Vintage Ephemera Kit that's available in my Etsy shop, and I will link that in the description below this video. So I'll take you through the journal first. It is fabric covered and it's sort of a patchwork of different bright florals, and there's some trim, cotton trim here. I have hand stitched down the spine. It is a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, and these are the fabrics on the back and some cotton lace. On the front, the closure has a wax seal, and this one is the cherry blossom. There are a couple of different ones in some of the different packs, so this is just an example, and that's hanging off some reclaimed silk chiffon ribbon. There is a rose charm, a beaded rose charm on there as well, and they're easy to take off if you wanted to change the way that this closure is working on the journal. So I've wrapped this around and around the journal, and I've just wrapped it and tied it with a single knot, which would be easy to undo, under this hexagonal patch that I've stitched a mother of pearl button to. So you can definitely change that around if you want to. Inside the journal, it is fabric lined with some Cath Kidston fabric. This journal has a tuck spot that it's an up tuck, and some of the journals have the same lace as a pocket down the bottom. So they would just be randomly, they're just a little bit random. So there's 3 of each, but whatever you tuck in there isn't going to come out. It's quite firm. And I have also used the Rose Garden printable in this journal as well. So it does have a bright floral, sort of very, very light dash of shabby chic. And I've made that into a tuck spot, some vintage music paper, avocado stained papers. There's a blue piece of ledger that is a tuck spot, another piece from that digital kit that I've made into a pocket, and there's a piece of ledger from the 1800s from the US as a pocket. Tea stained paper, some more of that blue ledger. There's also a glassine bag that I've turned into pockets, and that is a German die cut that I have stuck on there. So very lightly decorated, some ledger from France, and in the center there are some signature beads, just to add a bit of interest to the journal. If you don't like them, you can also cut those off and just tie a little bow. And that's the other side of the glassine bag. So I've put another one of those German die cuts on there. So you can see I've sort of started you off, I guess, with some pockets and tuck spots. 1903, that ledger from the US is, that's how old that one is. So they are all of the pages. I've torn the edges because that's sort of how I like to put pages into a journal, and that is the tuck spot at the back, and that's the back cover. So to close it, I've just wrapped that around a couple of times, and then I wrap it around that little hexagonal patch, and that keeps the journal closed. So that's the journal, and then we will have a look at the other parts. This is a beaded charm you can also use to decorate something in the journal. I have some more of that silk chiffon ribbon, so you can use that to for tag toppers. It's very light and pretty, beautiful shade of pink. This is an adorable quilted heart patch that I have made with layers of fabric and hand stitching around each heart, and a bow just sewn in the middle at the top there. I am going to do a tutorial on this, on how to actually make heart templates and then cutting the fabric out and stitching it into the heart patch. This would actually look really cute on the journal. If you wanted to put an eyelet at the top, you could hang it from a bowl pin, or you could actually put 2 eyelets in the side, on either side, and weave some of this through it. So there are a couple of options that you have with your little heart patch, or you could just have it somewhere in your craft room for inspiration. This is a tag that I have very simply decorated from the Vintage Linen Ephemera Kit, and a beautiful tag with vintage wallpaper. They will all be different in each inspiration bundle, but all just as beautiful as this, and there's space on the back to journal. A stunning hand marbled tag. There's beautiful silver marbling paint through this pattern, and I will link the Etsy shop that I get my marbled paper from in the description. Another journaling card from the Vintage Linen Ephemera Kit, and I've just put a little bow at the top there in the corner, so that could slip in nicely to a pocket. And this is another of those journaling cards as well. So I've literally used doilies and tablecloths that were damaged, and I've cut out a beautiful piece of it and turned it into a card or a tag, and I just love those crinoline girls. And what I do is I print it onto light cardstock, and then I give it a little squeeze so that it's not perfectly flat, because I prefer a little bit of movement, I guess, to my printables. And I also go around and I just very gently rub the corners of all of the journaling cards and tags, just to take that sharp edge off. I have a thing about sharp edges, so that just softens it a little and adds a little bit of movement to a printable. And then you can just simply sew a piece of lace as a tab to the top, or you could put a little tab topper, and that's a very simple way that you can actually take a two-dimensional, I guess, printable and make it a little bit more three-dimensional. I've also included a couple of collage tags, some fabric, wallpaper, French documents, and French music score, beautiful pattern there, and machine stitched around it on avocado dyed paper. And another one here with some lace and wallpaper, some of that American ledger and French letter collaged on there. So there's 2 collage tags. And then there's a larger journaling card, again from that Vintage Linen Kit, Vintage Linen Ephemera Kit. And I've just sewn on a little piece of cotton lace to the top there, but I do love that garden gate with all the blossoms around it. And all of those coordinate in with the journal the colours in the journal. For the trim and fabric bundle, a gorgeous piece of blue insertion trim there, a lovely piece of pink lace, and you can, because of the size of the journal, this could be a really beautiful belly band, or you could cut it into 3 and have smaller pockets, and you can hand sew them on. I'm doing a little series of tutorials on hand sewing onto paper, and it's quite easy to do. A longer piece of fabric for a ruffle down the side of a page, and another piece of gorgeous vintage floral fabric. These are the same in each of the inspiration bundles. This is a piece of that medium weight Cath Kidston print. I absolutely adore it. I adore all of Cath Kidston things. They're just so bright and cheerful. Beautiful piece of vintage lace, and that again can be a belly band or a pocket, or it can also be 2 pockets or a tuck spot at the top. And of course, if you don't want to hand stitch, you can easily sew these on as pockets and tuck spots. Another piece of vintage fabric, and I've torn the edges. I prefer that sort of torn edge look. I think it's that perfect sort of shabby chic look, and that's another nice piece of vintage fabric. Some beautiful Dutch lace that I thought would look really nice down the side of a page. It is vintage, so there is some discoloration, but I think that sort of adds to the charm. Some more of that bright Cath Kidston fabric. I've used that on the cover of the journal. I love this print. It's so gorgeous. It's like a cottage garden. So a nice piece there, and a really beautiful piece of vintage fabric. It has had a previous life, so there may be some stitches or little stitching holes, but I love that about vintage fabric, that it's had a previous life and a story to tell. There is also enough fabric here to actually make another journal cover, so if that's something with as a patchwork sort of style, very similar to the one that I've made for this inspiration bundle, you could definitely make another one with all of this fabric of your own. So they are the fabrics and laces in this bundle. So nice, bright and cheerful, because I think we all need a little bit of cheering up this year. And the collaged tags, the digital kit, and beautiful marbled paper and wallpaper. And you've also got that really sweet heart-shaped layered patch. So that is the bright floral inspiration bundle, and thank you for watching. Hopefully you have been inspired. But I'll put all the links in, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.